Good morning, peoples. Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation at ya. Let's jump in and see. Bitcoin went up a little yesterday, and MSTR did very nice. Look at this. After getting crushed a lot, it was up 9.20, up from 114 to 124. Basically up like $10.50, right? Um, so we were up with Misty, and I know some of you bought that sale. Again, I've been kind of bearish for the month of September, but I'll just repeat what I was saying. I'm expecting volatility, hence owning the VIX. A lot of things going on. We got the first debate coming up tonight. We've got a lot more economic data this week. So I think this plays out one of two ways. We either move down prior to the 18th when the Fed announces, and yes, I get it. I see a lot more data for a 25-cent move rather than a 50 basis point cut. And that might only be the 25 basis point cut. The more I see it explained, the more they're saying that 50 points seems desperation, even though they're way behind the curve, right? And there's very likely a 50 basis point in November and then a 50 basis point. I think we have one more meeting at the end of the year that, typically there are 8 meetings or so, and they're about every 6 weeks. So sometimes you can have 2 months because you have the meeting early in the month and then late in the following month, and you have time for the 6 weeks. That's why sometimes that happen, and many times they're 2 months apart. They're not really 2 months or 6 weeks, but depends on when they are. So this one falls in the 18th, right? So there's no way to have an October meeting, right? So the next meeting will be after the election is cast, right? So the thinking is if they do a 50 basis point, that could lean to they're playing the incumbent party or they're playing against the incumbent party. So they'll probably be conservative and only do a 25 basis point. Everybody agrees that we need 50, and if we only get 25, we'll probably be followed by the early November 50 basis and probably another 50 basis at the end of the year. So just kind of interesting to politics. I was saying I thought of 50, but listening to a lot of the rhetoric out there may not get the 50. So I think if we rally like we did yesterday, or we stay, if we don't go down, I think the sell off starts after the 18th immediately. It's like, okay, we got a 25 basis point. We already had all that baked in. But I kind of thought we were going to go down with the September events and all this geopolitical pressure and things in the world, and then get a positive momentum after the rate cut in September the 18th, the announcement, and then probably sell off 2, 3 weeks after that. So if direction happens one way, then I think it'll swing the other, sort of the yin and yang in the market. But overall, September and October generally are where you see many market crashes, 5, 8, 10% pullbacks. If it doesn't happen in September, it'll probably happen in October. Again, it could happen right after the 18th announcement, especially if we stay even or move up going into the 18th. All right, I got that out of the way. I'm done talking economics. So, what did they do here with this 9.2% rise in MSTR and a 7.66 in MSTY? Misty. Okay. So they had some shares bought, right? Went from 750, 21,750 to 21,925. So 175,000 shares. Well, anytime you get that, you put on some trades. So what were the trades? Here they were. This is a very traditional, right? None of this new call spreads, whether they're bullish or bearish call spreads, they didn't happen. Okay. So they were simply, let's open this up, more synthetic. So they bought 400 contracts. And since they're below the 139, but not as bad as they had been, so they're around 124. So that would be $15 here below for the put, but you also have all the way to October 18th, right? So that gives you the 22. So you buy them for $8.10 and you sell for 22.70. So we gain a little bit of money. And then we put on a traditional naked weekly call. Now, since it was Monday, we just wrote a 913 4 days out and got $1.97. And it's 131. So we're getting close now with that 10-point move. We're not so far out of the money, right? This one is only 4.95% with 4 trading days. And we're also moving up on this one. So now this one is got 400 over here at 131. And it really needs to be blue because let's do it like this. We'll follow the formats here. Okay. So what has to happen here is this has to get updated, right? Now all of a sudden we're much closer. We're not that far away. Let's give Misty her due, right? Misty says, I want an up arrow too. Mr. Bruce, all right, you can get your little up arrow, Ms. Misty. You earned it, girl. All right, so there we are. 34215, and not that far away. All right, let's go look at holdings and tells us the rest of it. So let's look at our synthetic because we moved up. We had a 10-point move up and we added a little bit. So before I show you what little bit of money that gave us, let's go out and look at this. How about that? 80 million loss to a 45 million loss. Okay, not bad. That's what happens. That's how you can get back. Now, unfortunately, we went from being, 45% ahead to being behind, right? Because now we're running up closer to that number. And they love to make the time premium expensive in these short terms because you have a high IV. We put this trade on at what, $1.97, okay? And now we're behind a little bit. It would take us 80,000 on what we wrote for 78. This guy, we're still got 7, almost 8% of the gain because we were way ahead on that, right? All right. So let's go and look. What didn't I show here? Okay, so we closed at 2053. Fair value is 2047. So pretty close. I think most people think, hey, congrats to anybody that got in the 19s, right? That went out and bought this thing cheap. All right, so let's look at our payouts. That's really, oh, I didn't show you what the 139 looks like. So we had this for a loss, 3,680,000. I know it's very small. I didn't intend for you to see it. That's what the value was here prior to putting the 400 on. And then on the 400, we gained almost 500,000. right? Well, sorry, almost 600,000. We gained 584. So when you add those two numbers together, we gained a little bit, but we still have a loss here in September. So let's go look at our payouts. So with this loss and with this gain, and we got another 78,000, because remember, once they give us the naked call money, that's considered booked. And then we either earn it and get to keep it, or we have to spend some cash and buy it back, hopefully not at a loss, right? So, hey, not bad. MSTY has 32 cents here and 18 cents total. Why 18 cents total if they have 32 here? Because they're losing some here, right? And the share count continue. This share count, just look at that. I mean, last month was huge. People were buying it on the dip. And it's good to see they're still buying it because 19 is a bargain if you look at MSTY long term. That doesn't mean it doesn't go to 18. Nobody can predict it that close right now. Um, but that's what I got for you, people. So, hey, I would say it's trending okay. I'll give it a B here um, on what's happening. And let's hope, again, I'm kind of hoping we keep the volatility because that's one of my big positions on my VIX calls that I own. I've already taken a little off the table and made a lot, but I'd like to see that continue. I think we still are going to get that spike. Um, and my calls are out till October 18th, so it may not happen until after the Fed likely quarter point announcement. All right, peoples, that's what I got for you, Bruce, with Targeted Wealth Creation. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Okay, peoples, talk to you. Have a great day ahead, and bye for now.